Hey guys, I'm Ash.
And I'm Pete.
We're two friends with a combo of 7 kids ranging from toddlers to 20s and 2 crazy husbands.
Our paths were not easy. With childhood battle wounds, divorce, second marriages and all, we somehow found each other. And together we talk real life, laugh, cry, and figure out how to survive the day.
Music is by Decibel Champion. To hear Decibel Champion's newest hits, search Decibel Champion on Spotify. Hey guys, it's Ash and P.
Hey.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
Sorry, we've been a little bit of a mess.
Life's crazy.
It is.
Sorry.
We're going to be back on track.
Yes.
October is going to be a little crazy, but I think
much
different.
Oh yeah, totally.
Just like maybe crazy weekends.
Yeah,
not like
that's like more of like, you know, do you ever, okay, so here's the thing, like I always love when people say like, I'm so busy. But when you're busy because you have like birthday parties and like
right,
fun
you
events,
have a few events.
like
a little different.
It's a little different
than like putting an event on for a whole city.
Or like working, or like you've got something major that you're planning. So this is going to be fun, crazy. This is going to be like,
yes,
we'll be hanging out a lot this month.
I know, it's going to be so nice.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What?
I was just thinking, and I should probably hold my thoughts for later.
I think I know what you're thinking.
Okay.
And I've already thought
about
that.
did?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So
anyway, welcome back.
We're back.
He's alive. She survived.
I survived. I'm alive. Literally, I think I had like 140 or 150 hours on my
on your time card.
Yeah, my 2-week time card.
Which is insane because the majority of the hours happened in 1 week.
Yeah.
I know you were working a lot the week before, like more than
Which
normal,
is
but
insane because I'm like a not full time.
Yeah.
But I am.
You're like a 4-day-a-week employee.
Yeah.
So that's even more insane. I had 80 hours on my paycheck.
That's still a lot.
But I mean, just 40 hours a week, not a lot. And that was 80 hours for 2 weeks, not 100 and something.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. I think last week was like 90 for 1 week.
Yeah. That's insane. You worked more in 1 week than I did in 2.
Yeah. I felt like I didn't see my family. And it's crazy, like up to as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just, I'm busy, but I'm still trying to like live my life and plan and work.
Mm-hmm.
And then there comes this crunch time where you're like all days, all nights.
Yeah.
You know, you're all in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still really busy. I'm taking on a whole lot more because
you don't do enough.
Who can't do more? Duh. So I'm taking on more. Plus, I'm still trying to wrap up everything from the last few weekends. And what gets me is, I mean, I really, really like what I do.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
Right.
But it is nuts. And it is nuts to like think, like if I put my like out of body for a second and then look at the outside looking in, like
I think it's what I see.
Nobody knows what goes into it though, you know?
Oh yeah. Like just like say an attendee.
And you would think like
there's a whole bunch of people
that do all of this.
Yes.
And that's not the case.
I know. It is. So it's funny to me, like this year is obviously a little different of a role because rather than being responsible for a portion, you were responsible for the entire event.
Yes.
But it's so funny to me. I think about like how you like, I mean, you really rocked Carnival as a parent teacher club, like Carnival chair, right? Like I mean, this is the kind of stuff you were made for, event planning. That really is something that is really you, which is why you love what you do. But I was thinking this last week how it's so funny because it's like just a few years ago, you used to be this PTC president, like teaching me how to do carnival. And now you'd put on this like multiple day event for all of these,
for like 150,000 people.
Yeah. When we used to hope maybe we'd get a few thousand people at our carnival.
No, it's so crazy. And I got to give it to a few things. So like I have an amazing boss who is like down to the nitty gritty with me. Like we're both like, we're doing all the fun stuff like in front of the news. And then we're also like cleaning up porta potties, like innocent, not cleaning, but like
restocking, taking care of trash.
Because the way we have to leave it is that, I mean, we have to leave everything like it was given to us.
Right.
So, you know, when you are the event holders, it's your name on the line, and you can't expect it's just going to be done. No, you're the last man standing, and you go back and make sure that everything is picked up after, and everything is put back where it's supposed to be, and everything is where it needs to be. And so there, I'm so grateful for that, and I'm so grateful that we have volunteers that help do things, because even though it's still a lot to coordinate volunteers and stuff like that, I mean, they're huge, and we've got a good, in all honesty, like the school that the kids go to, freaking rocks their volunteers.
I saw them a lot during the weekend, and it's good to see them being involved, and good to see.
And I love that I can call on my friends, also known as my parents, to know what it's like to do all of this, like on a smaller scale, and know what it's like to put things on and have to like need volunteers. So thank goodness I have friends like that, because they step up and help too.
I think that's one of the reasons that like you and I think we are so different in, like, I think we're so different as you're very organized.
Type
you
A.
you are very type A, and I'm very type A about different things. Not the stuff that you are. More of like the ridiculous things that it's like, why are you like that about that? But you're very like on it. You are on it. You're so organized. You are so very detailed. And I'm not like that. But I think when it comes to like giving back and being there and supporting and things like that, I just love it. You know, like, and I obviously that's why we met through PTC, but it's like I love to go. Like, you didn't have us scheduled for all Saturday, and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like, we weren't there all Saturday, because we totally would have been there all Saturday. You know what I mean? And so it's like I love to do that kind of thing, which I think we have that kind of thing in common. You know, where you can help out, like, you know, Sunday you're going to be doing, you know, an event with your child's school. I mean, you didn't just put something on last weekend, but
so I'm the crazy mom that was in the office still writing raffle tickets for the last minute today. And I will be there helping and volunteering.
You should have made me come and write raffle tickets with you.
I looked at Tony last night. Yeah, I think it was last night. So I'm writing, no joke, 200 tickets. Okay. And I'm there would have been more, but I had to cut people. I was like, I can't anymore. Like, I'm done.
You should have called me.
Okay, but listen, this is the crazy thing. I'm sitting there writing them, and I look over, and what is my husband doing?
Playing on his phone.
Yes. And I'm like, okay, I've gone through like 100 already, you know?
Yeah,
and I'm
you
still
have to
doing
help.
it. And I'm like, geez, my hand is like cramping from writing all of this. And he's like, yeah, it's a lot of tickets.
Such a guy response.
Like, really?
No offense, guys out there. I'm just saying That seems like something Jason would say too.
So I'm like, like your own family bought some too. You could maybe write their numbers and stuff out. And he's like, are you asking me if I can write? And I was like, well, number one, I shouldn't have to ask you. Why am I asking?
Yeah.
Can you just like?
And no, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You should be offering, but I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm like,
not asking.
No, just start writing. Start writing them. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh, that's good that you guys were able to get so many.
Yeah, it was great. I really appreciate everyone, and we're gonna be out there. Tony goes, it's so funny. He goes, so he had asked me. He's like, do not, because I still don't think they have a vice president for their PTC. And he's like,
you're gonna do it.
Do not. I was like, I'm not doing anything. But you know what? I did this for Tristan. I was like, I'm not doing anything the first year. I'm going to sit back and watch.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to sit back and watch. And I did do that the first year with Tristan. And I just volunteered. And so then today, we were doing stuff, and my father-in-law calls, and he had bought some raffle tickets, and he's like, oh, the festival is Sunday, and he's like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. He's like, and he's on speaker, right? So he's like, and is P gonna take over? And he goes, no.
We'll see how it turns out.
She's not doing anything the first year. She's just gonna sit back. And he goes, she doesn't want to or something. And he goes, oh, but she might not be able to resist it either.
So true though.
So
no, it's just, which I am very, and I think it is because it's different on the junior high school level. Totally. Foundations are completely different than PTCs because the way the foundations run is like you can't handle it.
I can't.
It's so mismanaged.
Yes.
There are things that they could be doing so much better to really, increase their funds.
Yeah. So when when Tristan switched over, one of my friends who was also another mother,
right,
who was also a staff of
our elementary school.
Yes, and she was involved with the high school, junior high at the time already. She was like, I want to introduce you to the president because you guys have to meet because you guys can. But I went to a meeting and I was like, no. I was like, I can't do this. I go, there's no way, Tony.
It's just too much of a mess.
Yeah, it's not ran right. And honestly, I should probably say, so let me help and fix it. But I just can't even do it because it's so stressful.
Such an undertaking.
I just had
Gigi.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm not going to stress myself out with a newborn and a brand new job and trying to clean this.
Right.
So I never did.
Yeah. So
I support him. Whatever.
Yeah. No, and I know I'm horrible because I say like, oh, you and I are the same. We want to give back and we want to do this. But then I'm also, this is how horrible I am. This is my last year of PTC. Like, I'm done.
You put in a lot of years.
Yeah. Hayden's a 9th grader, and I don't know. Did I take over secretary his 1st grade year or 2nd grade? I don't remember. I know his kindergarten year I came mid-year, but I don't know that I ran for anything his 1st grade year. I can't remember. Either way, it's like I think of it as I'm done. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm going to get to sit back and relax. Yeah. My kids are all, which I should really help, but I think maybe on a smaller scale. Maybe like I could volunteer at an event or something like that. But at the same time, I also like to pay money and go to the event. Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's not the same,
And hey, we do put our contributions in that way.
Yeah, we do. There are a lot of beverage tickets purchased.
We
take a
huge
group. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Spend lots of money.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't know that they're hurting for volunteers, in the elementary school level. And I know it's not the same at all of them. Like,
ours was.
Yeah, ours is that I am supposed to be co-president, but I'm also still treasuring. I don't know if that's allowed. Our bylaws don't specifically say I can't do it, but our treasurer is nowhere to be found. So it's like,
you were supposed to give all that over.
Yeah. Yep. Sure was. So that's like, and that's where we're at it with volunteers, So I feel like the need is so much bigger at their school, that once they've moved on, it's like the foundation isn't begging for help the same way elementary PTC is. So maybe that's partially why too. Yeah. And I've also not been in a situation where I can't take on both. There's no way I can do this and foundation. That's a lot. I don't know. But anywho, that went way off topic.
I know.
You guys have no idea what we're talking about. Okay, so really quickly, we will have a guest. It is not going to be this week and probably not the following week. We are basically having, we're having to work around and kind of convince a little bit. Oh my gosh, she's hilarious. She is just like, oh my gosh, she will, but she's nervous.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to kind of tire.
She is a commitment phobe. How do you say that? She has a phobia of commitment. Yeah. However you say that. Yeah. So there's that whole thing, but she's funny. But that is not happening. So the next couple of weeks, you will actually be hearing us talk about kind of self-image, like body image, and like surgeries and things of that nature. You're probably going to hear our husband. We do have 2 additional children in the house, P. So don't be too harsh with that message you send to your husband. Especially because last time, that's better than the message I sent when they started playing the music. You guys, also, I have to apologize because not this past week where we didn't post, but the week before, we did have additional material,
and it's like stuck.
Yeah, it's like stuck.
Won't play.
It won't.
Even now, it won't play. It's.
We've shut everything down and reopened and deleted apps, and so not quite sure what happened there. But when Priscilla said, "I'm going to go murder my husband," and then we came back, that wasn't what we actually came back to. So I'm sorry that you missed out on P.
Nobody knew.
Nope. I know you couldn't tell, but I was like, dang it. She came back from talking to it was funny. I mean, funny for me because he's not my husband. It's like I always say, you think Jason's funny when he says stuff. I think Tony's funny when he says stuff. We do not think they're funny when they say stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? So there's that. But we will be talking on body image.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and listen, before people go like, wah.
Yeah.
Seriously though, like, there's a lot to it because I think that both for men and women.
Absolutely.
It's like the older you get, the more kids you get, the busier you get, your life gets. Everything starts to weigh on you, and that includes your self-care.
Right.
That includes your time for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That includes making a meal for yourself. I mean, there are days where I remember just eating like goldfish.
Oh my gosh, I know.
You know what I mean? Like you just kind of have to survive. But at the same time, like, I guess it just depends on where you were in life before you started having kids as well. That has a lot to do with it, I think. And it also has a lot. I mean, there's so many things. I think of like spousal support
Mm-hmm.
and commitments that you guys make with each other and all these things. But I think like body image is so it's such a thing, and I think it's a big deal in two sense. It's a big deal of how we perceive ourselves, and it's also a big deal on how we neglect ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And this isn't, I don't want people to think like, oh gosh, they're going to go on and on about this and it's going to be like, poor me, blah, blah, blah.
No.
That is absolutely not what this is going to be about. It's not going to be like, oh, I'm so this, I'm so that. I feel so bad about myself. That's not at all what it is.
No,
So
we all feel fat, we all feel
oh
bloated,
gosh,
we all feel
yeah.
blah, 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 but
I
there's
mean,
more to it.
yeah, there is, and it's really going to be more about, I think, journeys, and it's not going to be like, oh, I feel horrible. I feel that it's going to be more like, I think it's going to be it's not going to be a Debbie Downer, is what I'm trying to say.
No, it's not.
No offense, Debbie. I'm just kidding.
So we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna start talking about our journeys in our bodies,
Yes.
where they have been and where they are today, and where we hope to God they are in the future. Okay.
Perfect.
Hey guys, we're back.
We're here.
Yay.
So exciting.
Okay.
We're gonna, yeah, I want you to dive right in.
Okay. All right. So
sorry if you guys hear noise. I'm gonna reposition. I apologize. I should have done that before we started.
So I'm gonna kind of talk about my little journey body wise, I guess. Yes. And I guess to give you guys a bigger perspective. So I, if you remember from earlier episodes, did not go to public school.
Yeah.
You
did not have PE.
Did not. I did PE out of a book.
Which, really quick pause. How do you do PE out of a book?
You answer like athletic.
Oh, so you questions. Don't do physical activity.
No.
You just answer stuff.
Mm-hmm. Like things like, if Dennis has a racket and a green ball. I mean, it's like it is like ridiculous, but that was like my book. Oh goodness. And then it was like it never.
That's even worse what our kids did for COVID PE.
Totally. It never told me like, now go do 10 jumping jacks.
Yeah.
Or no, nothing. It was like ridiculous. It was not
a joke.
PE,
yeah.
It was considered PE. So naturally I was not athletic, right?
I don't know if you can say naturally.
Well, I mean, like,
maybe. Okay. So obviously I wasn't fit.
Yeah, and I had like zero idea of like how to be athletic.
Right.
Zero. So I get out of school. I go to City College. Mm-hmm. And
did you take PE there?
I did take PE there.
I never took PE in junior college.
I think I was really excited to take it because I'd never taken it, right? And even when I went back to school my senior year, when my mom let me go back to like public school.
Oh, right.
Year, I had already done all the PE that I could take, so I didn't have to take any PE.
Oh, no.
Year. So I couldn't even take PE then.
Oh.
So anyway, at City College, I did do PE. I actually really liked it.
What did you do?
I
just like a basic PE,
yeah,
or
basic.
I remember, so off topic, sorry. My mom went back to school after I was like 7 or something, and she did PE, but I feel like she did something like, and I'm probably way wrong, but like tennis, or it was something like that, like a PE like that. And I was like, wait, what?
I do think they had a little bit of step aerobics in there too.
Okay, maybe it was something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I actually really enjoyed it. And then, I get married, I have Tristan very young, and I go through my early 20s, and I was never heavy.
Right.
I was never.
You're a small woman.
Yeah,
you're not.
Yeah, like I'm sure I'm like I'm not a very big person,
If can I and I don't you may not want to answer this, but aside from being pregnant, so like what was your heaviest weight? Just to kind of get an idea.
Well, there was a point where I weighed almost as much as I did when
I want to know what this weight is because you might make me cry. Okay, I won't really cry. I won't cry.
At my heaviest, and it was in my early 20s, early 20s. No, maybe towards my mid 20s.
Okay.
And I was the same as I weighed when I gave birth to Tristan. I was 140 pounds.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna make me barf.
Okay, but I will say this. This is where weight isn't everything, because I carried 140 pounds with a baby, and I mean, I looked great, right? I looked great.
Yeah.
I carried it without a baby, and I still didn't
you didn't never, like, looking at pictures, you never looked big to me.
But I look at the picture and I'm like, oh, my face
you do, yeah.
full.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I was
you look different
fuller.
for sure.
I was
yeah,
bigger,
you looked heavier, but you were never like a fat girl.
I was never heavy. I was never obese. I was
right.
I was never
just bigger than you are.
Yeah, I was
and
bigger.
Not like you're muscular now.
And I had zero muscle.
Yeah.
I had zero muscle.
But they say muscle weighs more than fat, and that's why you could carry a baby and be fit.
That's right.
And weigh the same amount as being like a little heavier.
Yeah. So I have Tristan, and I'm young, and I think when you're young and you're in your early 20s or even mid 20s, it's like you drink whatever, you eat whatever.
Yeah, you're not thinking about that. Unless that's a habit that you've already formed.
Yes, which I think comes from early sports and life
and the way your parents are.
Yes.
Like, which my mom was never like, oh, eat a bunch of junk. We were very poor. She cooked every night, like breakfast and lunch and dinner.
But health wasn't like
there was never
a topic in your home.
No.
Like, you need to be healthy. You need to go blah blah blah.
And we were all
and go on walks.
So
like that.
It's crazy. My mom was heavy. After she had my baby brother, she like never lost her weight, and she like carried it, and she even got bigger. She was very heavy, but none of us kids were heavy, and my dad wasn't heavy. So I'm a lot like her, and we yo-yo and we have eating issues, and she got very depressed and stuff like that, which has a lot to do with stuff sometimes. We'll get into that.
Yeah, we need to get into that.
But it's funny but there was never an emphasis put on like, eat this, eat that, go exercise. But that was something, like, I know things were different when you were growing up, but we always went outside and played. We were never in the house.
So here's the crazy thing is, even looking back, like my mom was an athlete. Mm-hmm. She played soccer. She should have gone off and played in college. She should have continued. She got pregnant in high school, had me.
Way to go, Priscilla.
Yeah.
Gosh, she ruined her life.
Right? So I messed everything up. I was the wrench. And I have, my brother, who's the next oldest, who's like 7 years younger than I am, he's very athletic.
Yeah.
Totally reminds me of my mom. Very athletic. It's like their bodies like morph back in like 1 second back to their
so jealous
like athletic bodies.
Yeah.
I never had that,
Right.
And I never knew what that was, but
he always played sports though.
He always played
growing
sports, up and I never did. So I was, I was bottom heavy. Okay. Like all you ladies know what that means, right?
Yes.
Bottom heavy, tiny on top. and I would say I had a little. I wasn't. I can't even say I was chunky because
No,
it's really not
no.
even chunky. You know, it was
You just weighed more than.
I just was not fit.
Right.
I just was not fit.
Exactly.
I
That's
never
the
worked
thing.
out.
You weren't fit.
Yes.
But you weren't fat.
No. And so I go through life, whatever, go through my marriage, go through my divorce, and now I start dating Tony. And I start dating my husband, and he is.
Can we pause really quick?
Okay.
When you were going through your divorce and all of that mess with your first husband, because it was a long road. It wasn't like you just were like, bam, divorce, whatever. It was a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Did you lose weight at that? Like, did you have stress
No.
loss,
I've
or
always
did
been
you
jealous
gain weight?
of those people who like stress out and lose weight.
I know.
I'm not that person. I don't. I still get hungry and still want to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing about me.
Do you emotionally eat though?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
So that's good. Like you
Yes.
could have been, obviously, I mean, there were points you were very sad, but you weren't like gaining weight either.
So I'm not an emotional eater, but I like to eat. I love food.
Yeah.
I love eating good food. And
Right.
good food doesn't necessarily mean healthy food. It means
right.
I want it
delicious.
to taste delicious.
Yes.
And there were times where I would try to like get into like the gym, and I would try to work out. And even, especially after I was going through my divorce, right?
Right.
It was like,
yeah,
I want to kind of like work out.
Get into you.
And I always had this like mind of, I want my daughter to see and be healthy herself. But I never had that. So how do I start that?
Right.
You know, and I went through, I think I talked in one episode about going off to an overnight boot camp by myself.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So like
I forgot. You had never told me that before that.
So I would go sometimes with our girlfriend, and I would go to these boot camps, but I didn't have like the diet down.
Sure.
And I didn't know, but I enjoyed the workouts. I enjoyed the workouts.
At least you have that.
I know. So I liked that, and I liked that feeling. And I think that as I got into it, I was like, I liked the feeling, and I think that feeling is that's a big portion of why I do what I do today.
Yeah.
So as it kind of like it's there, it's not there, whatever, I start dating Tony. And Tony at the time had just lost, and I'm totally throwing him under the bus here, but he had just lost like
He'll
30.
Say it.
He had just lost 30 pounds himself when we started dating. And he had just lost 30 pounds. He was starting to work out. He was actually taking spin, which I had been taking spin, right? We had been taking spin.
Did you guys take it together?
No.
Oh, okay.
2 different gyms.
Okay.
But he was 300 pounds.
Yeah.
When we started dating.
Which, and I know you were not fit at that point, but like, I'm going to be really like weird, but that just goes to show like what a good guy he is.
Oh,
you know?
Absolutely.
And I know you think this about yourself, like, I'm so mean. Like, you think like, oh, I'm mean. I'm like, oh, I'm this, I'm that. You had a major connection with someone who is way different than you would expect.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's not like, if you're thinking, which I think is sometimes how it needs to happen, that it's completely unexpected and not what you would envision. But that's another reason I have to tell you that, like, you think like, oh, I'm so harsh and I'm this and I'm that, but you fell in love with a guy who was significantly heavier than you.
I mean, he was at the time, you're obese. Like, he was a large guy. And listen, this episode is not about all the good on the inside and all the wonderful things. Like, those are, I'm just saying, that's just something. This is the physical appearance of people. And this is like your body and your physical health and well-being. Mm-hmm. And at the time when I started dating my husband, he was big.
Yeah.
And although but we were friends, so
right.
I knew who he was.
But that goes to speak for the kind of person he is.
Yeah.
You know, you guys had that connection because of who he is.
I mean, so here's the thing. I always say, like, he had the most, like 300 pounds or not, that boy had confidence.
Yeah, I mean, you do always say that.
Like,
like, he was not aiming low.
No,
he never not. Aimed low. Like, nope, not gonna date that girl. Nope. Yeah.
Nope. And I would always be like, who do you think you are? Like, but this is also. I mean, you're a good guy, but dude, like, I'm trying to find you a date. And like, you're 300 pounds. Like, not every girl's gonna go. Yeah. Every girl,
yeah. No, you're right. You're right for sure.
I mean, but I knew that he was a good guy.
Yeah.
I knew how he was on the inside.
Which is why you were trying to hook him up with some people, because you knew he was such a good guy.
Yeah. So when we started dating, he was already on his way, which was great. But I kind of basically was like, we're going to do this, and I want us both to lose weight. I want to lose weight too.
Right.
And so we're going to go through the motions, and we're going to do the hard work, and we're going to eat right, and we're going to exercise. And at the time, you know, Tristan is on the, she's school age, so they're a little bit easier, you know, a little bit. I mean, she's not a picky eater, so she'll eat whatever pretty much. And we only have one, so our schedule is, you know, it's okay. It's not what it is today with 3. And and he lost 100 pounds. And probably, like, I would say we probably did it in like 6 months.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of weight to lose. And I'm speaking as I have multiple family members who have done weight loss surgeries. Mm-hmm. I have friends who've done weight loss surgeries. That's a big chunk of weight.
Yeah.
And when you do a weight loss surgery, you're looking at like a year to lose that kind of weight, you know, and that's having that surgical assistance.
Yeah.
You know, you're literally on a liquid diet for a month and a half, you know? So that's impressive.
Yeah.
So did you help him with diet too?
We both
like, did you guys work on that together?
30 pounds. He lost 100 pounds.
Jeez.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And we did everything from fitness to diet, everything. And we stuck with it, and we were good, and we still had fun. We still went out. Yeah. We still did things. But we counted our calories. We tracked everything we ate, and I did it with him. And I was so proud, and he felt so good, and I felt so good. And then it was like, I found this like long lost love, which was
working out.
The love I never knew was there, like, that I could do, you know.
I wish I could be like that. I dream, like, I want to be you when I grow up.
So ridiculous.
No, but really, that's like, I'm like, I wish I could be that way, you know, which I know for some people, you know, our daughter, she is very big into fitness. She's like bodybuilding, fitness competitions and stuff like that. And she did not find
she like found it like flipped
late. Yeah, it was, I mean, there was a good chunk of time, but it wasn't some, you know, like, she had to force herself into working out and things like that. And it was a lengthy period before she was like, I got this and I love it, kind of thing, you know? So I know for everyone, it's not like you start doing it and, oh my gosh, you know,
right.
I think a lot of people probably, you have to force yourself to do it. Right. You know, it's not everyone's, you know, it's not everyone's thing.
No, not at all. I think that for me, I always wanted it. I always wanted it so bad. Not like, oh, I wish I could be that way. No, I really wanted that life.
I don't have that.
I wanted that life, but I didn't know how to do it. And I didn't know if I could do it.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know where to fucking begin with it, you know?
That's scary for a lot of people too.
I
Which
literally
maybe,
went into my classes and I signed up for the gym. I mean, it's like deer in the headlights, right? Like I
yeah.
am totally new to all like this entire world. And I just was like, when I came out, and it's like, there's something about your workout when you just like sweat your entire life out, like you think you can't go any further,
Uh-huh.
like you're going to lose all breath and you're going to die doing what you're doing, but you do it. And then afterwards, like, fuck yeah, I just did that. I just did that. And nobody else even knows what you did.
Right,
They're like, what are
right.
you
Where
even
you
talking
were
about?
at.
But
Yeah.
but you feel like, oh my God, I felt like my body was going to shut down. And I just pushed through and I did that. That's amazing because I mean, your mind and your body are two different
Right.
vessels, and it just operates so differently.
So I have to ask you then, because whenever I do work out, I think more like instead of what you're talking about, which sounds amazing and very like you're just like releasing everything. It sounds very therapeutic the way you talk about it.
It is.
The way I think of it is, oh my gosh, how much longer do I have? And maybe I'm not giving it, maybe I'm not giving it enough.
But I also think it's because you just haven't found what you like yet. Because when you find it, you find it.
Well,
And
I
then
really
like,
need to find what I like
then.
then.
I got my jam.
What do I like then?
I don't know.
My issue is I really, really like, and I know you say you love food. I really like two things. I really like to eat, and I really like to sit and lay. Those are my things.
But here's the thing. You like food differently than I do.
Oh, I'm a very emotional eater.
Yes.
I'm very almost like when they say someone who has OCD and they have to maybe like tap something so many times, it's like I am constantly thinking about that food. Like I'm constantly thinking like that looks so good and I want to eat it.
What I have figured out about myself, and it's not the greatest, but as I've gotten into it a little bit more, is if I limit myself, I stress myself out more. So I can't, because then I'm so stressed out. I can't think about anything else, and I'm in my own head, and then I'm like miserable and I'm really bitchy and I'm terrible.
And that's probably part of my issue, is that I don't want to do the stuff. So you love food so much that you will work out so you can do these things.
Yes, because I want to eat it.
And I don't want to work out, but I also know I shouldn't eat all of these things. So then I don't work out and I just think about how much I want to eat these things. Like it is literally in my head, like we have ice cream in the freezer. There's ice cream in the freezer. Oh my God, I want ice cream.
Don't have ice cream in the freezer.
Well, we typically don't, except when my husband's a big jerk, and that's why I tell Jason. Yeah.
So we're gonna get into all of that, because those are all things that play a heavy hand in all of this.
Yes. I know we're getting short on time.
We are, but what I want to say is this: I'm not on my high horse, because
no. Oh gosh, no,
at all.
No.
What I want
you just love what you do.
I do love what I do, but it's also more of a mental health thing than even a physical. Because
I know
I've had kids. I do not have a flat belly. I have stretch marks. I have flab. I wish that I was a size. Well, okay. Hold on. Let's reverse. I wish that I was a like ab core.
Yeah, like we look at you and you just have these ripped abs. Yeah.
I just want these chiseled
but
abs.
Part of that, I think, is that you work your ass off so hard that it's like, why can't I have it?
Well, you know why?
Well,
because
you had some kids and that's not how your body goes.
I've had some kids and I don't want to just eat broccoli.
Yeah, okay. That's true. If you ate only broccoli, well, I don't know. Broccoli would probably make you gassy and bloaty.
That's fine.
You might have, I know, but you might not be flat because you'd be bloated because you have all this gas in you. Maybe you got to eat carrots.
Okay, carrots.
Carrots. She doesn't want to eat carrots only.
Carrots. So everyone has a different journey. We have to close this.
I know. I'm sorry. I went on a tangent. I apologize.
But we're going to come back because there's a couple of things. So, one, we have only gotten to the port.
Stop talking like me.
Yeah.
Don't steal my accent.
Yeah, you're giving me an accent. The part where I am now on this journey with my husband.
Right.
Well, he's not even my husband at the time.
Right. Boyfriend.
And we've lost all this weight and how that transitions and with kids and everything else. And also all of the things about a partner.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
It makes a big difference.
It does.
We'll be back next week with all of that. Yes, we will be back next week.
We will. We promise.
Okay, we know life got crazy. Things got crazy.
We never expected that to happen the 2 weeks that we couldn't post, and we apologize, but we are here and we love talking.
We love talking. We love our listeners.
We love you guys so much, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for swapping with us today. Segment music by Callie Grace. For more of Callie Grace's hits, follow Callie Grace on iTunes and Spotify today.